Hi. A good place for us to start our discussion of American politics is by going right back to the beginning, the creation of the country. No, not that far. That's better. We're all familiar with the story of the founding. Maybe we're too familiar with it. I think perhaps we've lost our ability not only to be critical of the finished product, but maybe even to appreciate its very real achievements. So I'd like us to try for the next few moments to approach the writing of the Constitution as though it were new to us. I'd like to suggest three ways of looking at the founding. Each of them, I think, has a certain truth to it and helps us understand the entire document of the Constitution. The first is probably the approach we're all most familiar with, and I won't spend quite as long on it for that reason. That the Constitution was close to a perfect document, and it was created by a collection of statesmen whose like we will probably never see again. And there's some truth to this familiar perspective. The group we've come to call the Founding Fathers faced an opportunity and a challenge that was unprecedented: to create an entirely new set of governing structures for a new kind of country. Not just to come up with a general approach to a country to say it's a democracy or a republic, but to come up with a plan in writing for each new institution. Imagine all of us in Philadelphia with a task like that. I know I'd be intimidated. And the Founders' experiment has, in many, many ways, been a success. For example, figured one way, the United States is the longest continuously existing government in today's world. And if we accept the view that these were near incomparable statesmen creating a nearly perfect document, then I think the logical conclusion is that we should try to change the Constitution as little as possible. Another way to think of the founders is just to see them as politicians. Politician has come to be kind of a dirty word these days, but I don't mean it that way. The task of these founding politicians required both conflict and compromise. You're familiar with these compromises between direct democratic rule by the people or Republican rule by representatives of the people, between a strong central government, as was advocated for by the Federalists, or a loose confederation of states, what had existed under the Articles of Confederation, between southern slave states and northern free ones, and between small states and large ones. The main point for our purposes here is that the Constitution that was created by a political process. If we accept that, then we have to accept that the Constitution may be imperfect, just as any other law could be. Make sure you watch the exciting second part of this video, The Constitution and American Politics, Part 2.